For the Ethiopian Educational Information and Communication Technology presents Educational Satellite Television Programs.
Hello, teacher. Hello, students. Welcome to today's lesson on some important compounds of selected nonmetals. So far, we have learned about ammonia, nitric acid, and sulfuric acid. Today, we will learn about diammonium monohydrogen phosphate. Our last lesson was about the industrial production of sulfuric acid. This is done using the contact process. We learned that sulfuric acid is the world's most important industrial chemical. The contact process is used to manufacture it because it is able to produce the concentration of sulfuric acid that is required by global industry. We learned about some of the chemical properties of sulfuric acid, as well as some of its uses. In today's lesson, we will explain the steps involved in the production of diammonium monohydrogen phosphate. Another name for this substance is ammonium phosphate dibasic. We will learn about some of the properties of this compound, in addition to some of its uses. Students, if you are ready, let us get started. Diammonium monohydrogen phosphate is a white, crystalline compound. It is one of a series of ammonium phosphate salts, all of which are water soluble. Diammonium monohydrogen phosphate has a melting point of 155 degrees Celsius and a density of about 1.6 grams per cubic centimeter. Diammonium monohydrogen phosphate is industrially produced when ammonia reacts with phosphoric acid. This is a two-step process which we will now go through together. In step 1, anhydrous ammonia reacts with phosphoric acid to form monoammonium dihydrogen phosphate and diammonium monohydrogen phosphate. In the second step, monoammonium dihydrogen phosphate is recycled so that it can react further with anhydrous ammonia. This further reaction produces diammonium monohydrogen phosphate. Students, we have gone through the steps involved in the industrial manufacturing of diammonium monohydrogen phosphate. Let us now do an exercise to review them. On a piece of notebook paper, please list the steps for the industrial production of diammonium monohydrogen phosphate. Include the chemical equations to show the reactions that occur during the process.
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up! Let's get back to our lesson.
Welcome back, students. Were you able to name all of the steps and write the chemical equations for the industrial production of diammonium monohydrogen phosphate? Let us go through the process together. First, anhydrous ammonia is allowed to react with phosphoric acid. This reaction forms monoammonium dihydrogen phosphate and diammonium monohydrogen phosphate. Second, the monoammonium dihydrogen phosphate is recycled. This allows it to react further with anhydrous ammonia to produce diammonium monohydrogen phosphate. If those are the answers and the equations you got, great job. Like the last few compounds of nonmetals we have studied, diammonium monohydrogen phosphate is used as a fertilizer. When it is given to plants as food, it temporarily increases the acidity of the soil. Adding diammonium monohydrogen phosphate to the soil causes the soil to maintain that higher acidity over the long term. This is because of the nitrification of the ammonium ion. Diammonium monohydrogen phosphate contains both nitrogen and phosphorus, both of which are extremely beneficial to plant growth. Diammonium monohydrogen phosphate can also be used as fire retardant. This is because it has the ability to lower the combustion temperature of the material that is burning. It also decreases weight loss rates of the material burning and increases the production of residue or char. These both help to extinguish fires. These characteristics make it extremely useful for fighting wildfires in particular. This is because the char and residue prevents the fire from spreading. Students, can you think of a consumable use for diammonium monohydrogen phosphate? Brainstorm with your classmates now.
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up. Let's get back to our lesson.
Hello again, students. Were you able to come up with an answer? You might have said that diammonium monohydrogen phosphate can be used as a yeast nutrient in winemaking, as well as in beer brewing. Students, in this video, you can see the process of wine being made. Diammonium monohydrogen phosphate is the basic nitrogen source in almost all wine yeast nutrients. It can be used on its own, or it can be used to supplement nutrients that are already prepared. Diammonium monohydrogen phosphate is used in some brands of cigarettes, and it is said to enhance the nicotine. It is also used to manufacture matches, as it reduces the afterglow from them. In today's lesson, we learned about diammonium monohydrogen phosphate. We learned that it is a white solid that is completely soluble in water. We learned that it contains both nitrogen and phosphorus, which makes it a good fertilizer. We also discussed that diammonium monohydrogen phosphate can be used as fire retardant and as a yeast nutrient in winemaking and beer brewing. We learned that this compound of nonmetal is industrially produced by the reaction between ammonia and phosphoric acid. This process involves 2 steps. We went through the steps together and learned how to write the chemical equations for the reactions that occur. This brings us to the end of our lesson for today. I hope you have found it to be as enlightening as I have. Until next time, thank you, teacher. Thank you, students.